Welcome to Movie Roundup today. I'm going to explain an adventure movie and drama called The Reason to Be With You. A new puppy comes into the world and is very happy with his mother when he grew up. Puppy plays with his brothers and have a lot of fun wondering if it's that the only purpose in life until two subjects arrive with a net and they capture the young cub is uploaded to a van where those from the kennel and shortly after they end their short life while everything fades away. Doggy think what was the point of having lived such a short life. The little time he returns to the world as a new puppy his mother feeds him and together they are happy, but then we give up account that he is a kennel dog. A guy comes to buy it but tells the seller looking for something smaller by lucky when the man returns him to his cage is left open and the puppy manages to escape. The little one goes over a fence and into an alley, and while he rummages through the garbage for a box falls on him and covers him. Moments later, two strangers find him and think of sell it for what they take it in a truck. When passing by a bar the boys they park and get out for a few drinks, leaving the puppy locked up without ventilation and under the sun. The poor dehydrated and believes that his life has finished, but at that time a young Colden Sant and his mother see him and they rescue the puppy. Fades and little then he wakes up in his new home with Ethan. The puppy is very grateful and decides that he will stay together to the child forever, and Sant tries convince his father Jim to give him permission to stay with him, and after think about it for a while the man comes out and he says that the little one will be part of the family. So the boy and the puppy they are very happy. They call him Billy and not anymore. He takes time to teach her some tricks and play with him. Bailey tours the house as he meets and play with family members and even learn to live with the cat. One day they all leave the city together and they go to the farm of the grandparents of Isa. When grandparents arrive at the farm, they meet Bale and quickly fall in love. He dances and enjoys life in the farm, running and playing with the chickens and even play ball with the. At lunchtime, Grandpa asks Jean if he is all good at work, and he tells her that he did not get the promotion and that things are difficult. And Sant asks permission to get up and go for a walk. The boy is visibly saddened by the situation. His father and shortly after Bailey find a deflated ball in a barn. The two spend the whole afternoon playing together with the ball, and after a while Jean goes out to play with them and they shows off the amazing trick he taught her to Bailey, where he throws the ball and Bailey jumps on his back to catch her. Back in town and Sant he goes to school and his parents work for what the puppy feels sad and alone with no one in the house. Bailey plays with the cat, and when they come home the boy notices the mess that caused the dog shortly after his father arrives too and is furious to see all his papers scattered around the ground. Jim brings Abel and asks Ethan to show him who's boss, and then he explains that later his boss will come to the office, so he orders her to as of all the disaster caused. When he finishes ordering his father, he goes back to the office and opens a box with several golden eagles. His wife calls from the kitchen, and when Jim goes to see what he wants and Sant take one of the coins to appreciate it, unfortunately the boy is careless and the coin falls to the floor where Bailey eats the boss. Jim comes home, and while they have dinner the man asks about his collection of coins, and Sant realizes that he must get her back, so he goes out with Bailey to the street and try to get the dog to play the seconds. Bailey doesn't understand what he is hoisting. He wants, but after a while he does little, and the boy find the coin when entering the house. His father is about to show him the collection to the boss of him, and Sant yells, desperate, saying there is a rat under the table and in the middle of the lack of control the boy takes advantage of. Return the coin to the place he Bailey say put under the table too, and when Jimmy tries to get him out of the Middle East, he accidentally hits his boss's wife. Throwing it on the table, the man knows that he already lost all the chances that get promoted at work for what you know. Angry with and locks him in the garage. The days go by and together they practice their mythical trick. And Sant grows up and the boy falls in love with American football. One day and Samba with Bailey to a park attractions, and the young man stares to a girl in one of the Bailey games. Notice that Ethan is a little weird, so helps him get closer to the girl. Both introduce themselves. His name is Hannah, and they chat for a while and enjoy the park attractions. The three pass every day together, swimming and playing, until eventually Hannah started to be part of the family too. Summer was ending and the boys, they began to plan their future together. One night coming home and Sant say find his father and his mother arguing at the door. Jean had turned alcoholic, and in that fight the man pushes her mother, throwing her into the floor, so they decide to separate. A few days later and Sant has a important game. The young man has a amazing performance, and after the game he tells his mother that they gave him a full scholarship to celebrate and samba with Hannah and Bailey to a bar where meet his father. Jim was drunk, and seeing his son, he starts screaming and making a fool of himself. Ice's envious companion sees him, and leaving the bar the guy faces him and talks evil of his father and his girlfriend, so Eisen hits him on the way home. Maybe he lies down next to Velez, and after a while he dog hears something at the door. When he approaches Ive to Isen's partner shooting a powerful firework at through the door, so he runs to bite it. Unfortunately the firecracker falls on the carpet and quickly all the house goes up in flames. Bailey runs to Isen's room and he wakes him up, and then the young man goes to wake up his mother without many options. They decide to jump out the window for what they put together a rope by tying several sheets to lower insurance, and Sant help his mother to go down, and then he goes down to Bailey. Then jump out the window. When he does it the boy falls to the ground strongly, and a piece of life in flames falls on his foot, causing him a fracture. For what he and his mother are taken by ambulance. And Sam and his mother decide to stay in the farm of the grandparents of him, so Bailey he is very happy, but unfortunately the boy was no longer humor to play with him on the farm to see Ethan and cheer him up a little by offering to go eat something at a nearby river, but Eisen is upset and frustrated with the world and believes that he no longer he deserves her, so he decides to break up with. She is very sad. The girl takes advantage to caress Bailey one last time and then throws the ball very far to be able to leave, leaving the puppy behind. Time and wham, he recovers from his leg and it's time to go back to school in the city. Before leaving the boy throws the ball towards Bale and for the last time, and then he leaves. A long time ago played with him from what he sees and reads. He thrills and runs across the field trying chase after him when he manages to catch up, and Sant hugs him and says goodbye, leaving it behind him, and he feels that he no longer there are reasons to go on. Everything seemed to go slow for him, but that was okay, because the poor man no longer wanted to run. Bailey was tired all the time already. He didn't want to play Isa's grandmother low. He finds a day very tired and crying. They decide to take him to the vet in, where they inform them that his organs are failing and that the best alternative is to give the injection to end your suffering. Before doing it, the grandfather speaks with Ethan and the young man come to hug him for the last time and to be able to say goodbye to him. This is where it all fades from back, and soon he returns to the world like a new puppy. The name of him now, it was him, and she's a police bitch on her. A new life for him, and he spends his afternoons training with his owner named Carlos. Although she still misses and wants to return with Nissan. One day a criminal kidnapped a 12-year-old girl from her and his house, and it is the one in charge of finding him, Carlos, makes smell some things, and she realizes that the girl is close to her. He and guides her owner to the offender, and when find the subject throws the girl into the water, so he went after her to try to save her. She manages to drag her to shore, and when she returns to help Carlos, she struggles with him, delinquent, managing to stop him but not without first getting shot, so the poor dog dies in the arms of the owner of it. All fades and little then reborn in the body of a little big-eared puppy, to which its owner I call and know. And he doesn't have a great life where he has fun and is very happy, but time passes and his canine friend of his called Roxy dies, and soon you don't get the same fate. Also, once again everything fades, and this time wake up like a cute little puppy called UAV as its new owner and her boyfriend. They take him home, but sadly soon they forget about him. They tie him outside, and the poor man remains alone and out in the open for a long time, until one day the boy decides get rid of the puppy. So what? He gets into a van and leaves it behind side of the train tracks. UAV. He wanders several days by the city until he arrives at a park that it becomes known to him. The dog begins to sniff and recognize an odor for had a long time, but woman no. She was there, and that's when she wafers begins to remember his past life with Nissan. The puppy walks guided by those old smells that reminded him of the old times and that made him so happy, until he comes to a wheat field in where he smells something very particular. Farm wafers. Run fast, hoping I can find Ethan there, and the puppy no longer wanted to be called wafers, wanted to be called Bailey, and being able to spend the days with Ethan like before. When he gets close enough to the farm, the dog manages to see their sons the distance. The man is already great, but the puppy runs towards him and pounces on him, and he goes out and feeds, but unfortunately he doesn't know who the dog really is, Bailey, so he closes the door and tells her. He says to go back to his house. The dog, he remains there motionless, so the next day the boy decides to take him to a place to give it up for adoption and wrap it up farm. But you can notice that the boy is a bit sad and alone because of what next morning he decides to go back with him dog to make the new owner of him in the farm and go out. He gives her a bath, and then he buys a necklace where he is engraved his new name, Woody. At night Woody notice that Ethan is not feeling very well, and that's when a thought occurs to him. Great idea. Buddy leaves the farm and he quickly heads to the park town. There the dog begins to sniff. Following that ancient trail, he brings you memories. That's when he meets Hannah, also very old, and when the woman bends down to look at her necklace, he realizes that he is his in-law's dog. Woman clearly remembers despite the passage of time, so he decides to go to the farm to take Woody and Sant. He opens the door and is very happy to see Hannah after so many years. The two start talking about their lives while the dog watches them from close, waiting for them to be back together again before Hannah leaves and comes out, apologizes for how silly that was when he broke up with her, saying that he was very upset with the world and he suggests going out for a drink sometime. Woman rejoices and hugs him, and followed the two kiss like when they were young. Shortly after, they get married and organize a great family dinner. Thank you to Woody, the two were able to meet again. And Sant was happy again, but the dog, although he would make Ethan realize that it was the wheel and the old dog of him from when he was a boy. Then the dog goes into the barn and he looks for the ball with which he hoists and they used to play a long time ago when they saw the ball, and Sant is surprised, and the two they play a while at a time, and Sant throws the ball and crouches so that he sees and takes the opportunity to do his old trick, jumping on the boy's back and catching the ball in the air, and Sant say surprise again, and it is then when he mentions Bailey the dog barks, letting him know it was him, and when Eisen says his name again, Bailey, he starts licking her face, and the two of them, they are very excited to be together. New, and the collar is removed with the Woody name to put the old man necklace that he used to wear Bailey before die, and the three are happy again as they were when they were young. Remember to leave your like, that helps a lot to the channel. Subscribe and activate the notifications to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and until next time.